Hi circuit riders, welcome back. Haven't seen you for a while. Hope you've been having a great fall. We are about to go on a little adventure, so I just wanted to share it with you. We've been parked here in Connecticut for the past month while we've been visiting with our kids and our new granddaughter. It has been so fun, but now it's just before Thanksgiving and we're ready to head out to a timeshare. I'm going to try to get out of this wind. To a timeshare with our whole family for Thanksgiving. So we've been timeshare owners for decades and we love to vacation at timeshares. We've been members of RCI for a long time. So we're going to a timeshare in the Berkshires in Massachusetts, and our kids are coming, my parents are coming. We're looking forward to a great week with them. But what are we going to do with the RV while we're there? Well, a lot of timeshares will allow you to park your RV or trailers in their parking lot if you're staying there. We've seen this many times in Florida when we go by, because of course there's millions of timeshares there, and we'll drive by and there's RVs in the parking lot. So I called this place. I said, we have a 40-foot fifth wheel. Can we park it in your parking lot? They said, absolutely no problem. We even have a parking space for RVs that you can park in while you're here. So that's great news. But we also have Ella with us, our cat. So we toyed around with, like, should we get a cat sitter? Should we pay for someone to keep her for the week? It's a holiday. But our son Jaron got a new apartment. You might remember that he was moving to Massachusetts. I might have mentioned it in my last video. He got a new job. Well, he, in the past few weeks, secured an apartment that allows pets. So he has very graciously agreed to keep Ella there for a few days until he comes to join us. So at least for 3 nights, she will be at Jaron's house. And then he's going to bring her. When he brings her to the timeshare, our plan is to have her live in the RV in the parking lot. Now, it's going to be cold. It's going to be below freezing overnight. So we've got our solar panels. We're planning to run the furnace for her, and we'll keep it warm in the RV. And if we won't get a lot of solar because it's fall in New England and it's going to be cloudy, but I think it will sip just enough to keep that furnace going. And we don't really need to run the fridge. We're going to take all of our food inside the timeshare. We're going to be cooking big Thanksgiving dinner, so we're taking all kinds of stuff into the timeshare. So this is going to be a little adventure for us. I hope that no one minds that we are in and out of the RV in the parking lot. I hope no one discovers that we have a cat in there for a few nights. I hope nothing freezes in the RV. So let's get going and we'll see how it goes. What's this new hose we got?
Oh yeah, it's vinyl. It's much more flexible. I like it.
Well, we made it to our timeshare. We got set up down here in a parking lot, and not a big parking lot, and like a little maintenance lot, and we wedged ourselves in here, which is fine. We'll be here for the week. But we've already run into our first snag. So we put the bed slide out so that we could get some things out of there and pack them in our truck to take over to our building, and we cannot get the bed slide back in. It is stuck out. We can hear the top gear whirring in there. Something has come off the track or the gear mechanism. Something's wrong with it. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to leave this slide out overnight because we don't know what to do and it's starting to get dark. But it's on the top, there's a similar gear, but just so you can see, it's got these teeth. I think it's a Schwinn Tech gear, and it just seems to have come off the track or something. We're gonna have to research it and figure it out. Oh boy, I'm in rough shape. All right, we're back out in the parking lot trying to diagnose our slide issue. It's the next day. We tried to look at some YouTube videos, but of course every rig is different and every video you watch is a little bit, oh, this isn't exactly my rig. So we finally looked in our owner's manual for the Van Lee Volano, and it details in there, if you're trying to manually put your electric slide in, here's the steps. So there's 2 different ways you can do it. You can unplug the slide motors from the control panel that's in the storage bay that will turn off the motors and then manually push the slide in. But Jason and I have not been able to do it by ourselves. It says you may need several people to do it. And then the second way is to get behind the rubber flap at the top of the slide on the outside and remove this set screw that will allow you to move the motor out of the way a little bit, and then you just kind of tack it up out of the way.
All right, at the top. top of the slide here, and behind this flap is where this side motor is, which looks like it's been disengaged. I took a set screw out here, but then supposedly you can take this and lift this motor up. See, it's free floating. Put the set screw back in and hold it out if needed.
So that's what he's trying right now. We're going to see if we can manually push it in. I've removed everything that was stored on top of the bed. We took the mattress off to try to relieve some of the weight in there. We could empty out what's underneath the bed storage as well. That's also very heavy, but let's see if we can do it this way first. But again, the main note is your rig is going to be different. So check your user manual before you go too far down the line. It might tell you how to resolve this problem. So a little update on the RV, and unfortunately I forgot to film any of this because we were concerned with getting the slide in. But we were able to push the bed slide in with the help of our son Jaron and son-in-law James. Jason and I tried to follow the instructions to disengage the motors and physically push it in, and the two of us were not strong enough to do it by ourselves. But when all four of us got on it, they were able to push it in. Now, Jason, one of the sides of the motors is still engaged and working. So what Jason did was he went inside and pushed the motor in a little bit, and then we would shove the other end manually, and then he'd push the motor in a little bit, shove the other end manually. It didn't seem to work if we just pushed the whole thing. But using the motor and the manpower, we were able to get it all the way in. So we're just going to leave it this way until we get to Florida and then find a repair facility to fix the slide for us. Now, in the bottom corner right here, again, you can't see it because I forgot to film, there's two little screws that were holding in the wheel that's underneath the gear, and those were sheared off. Those screws have been sheared off, I think, for a long time. Rivets.
Which
so
you could still move it, but it made it like settle
uneven,
a quarter inch, half inch. So
we'll keep you updated on that once we get to Florida. Obviously, we've made a horrible mistake here because we are in the Berkshires for Thanksgiving, and it's snowing today, Thanksgiving Day. But hopefully it'll be gone in a few days once we get ready to leave on Sunday.
I don't know if we would have done this for your parents or our children, but for a grandbaby,
of course we would have done it for the children.
No, you would have. I'm saying
but
we.
It's awfully fun being here with our whole family and our
great.
granddaughter
We're
for
glad,
her first Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we're glad we can kind of do this kind of crazy stuff with a movable house. And man, all week it's been just like 2 trips a day. Oh,
we've carried so much stuff from the RV over into our room, even our Anova oven, all of our fridge supplies, anything you can think of, our bathroom stuff, so it's really convenient to have the house right here. We're just in the RV briefly to switch out our solar towers. We are taking one of the towers into the timeshare to charge it up and then bringing it back out here since we're not plugged in. Our solar's not working. But Jason has just discovered that there's some water on the floor in our bed slide here. Could be from snow. There's quite a bit of snow here now, and it could be it's dripping down through the roof where our solar access wires are. We don't know where the water's coming from. It's just one thing after another on this trip. But you can see that we've got the bed slide all the way in now from pushing it the other day, which is great. But we're just trying to manage as well as we can for the next couple of days until we can get back on the road.
Oh, here's where it maybe came in.
Oh, yeah, it could just be coming in from this seal up here.
Because we messed with the seal.
Yeah. Yeah, this seal, we had to unscrew on the outside to get access to that motor, so it's not really watertight. So maybe just the rain and the snow is coming in there. Yeah, I can see a big puddle of water right under this slide. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's a lot of water there. All right, well, if that's the case, then that's probably the best scenario. We were just worried that some water leak or a pipe had burst there, but
shouldn't be a pipe burst.
Maybe not. Just rolling this solar tower over to our room so we can charge it up and bring it back.
It's like when our places we don't have good internet and we joke we drive to get the internet. Here we're, there you go, collect some electricity and bring back.
We're just back over at the RV for another round of charging our solar tower, but we've also had to take off these carpeted pieces that were on our stairs because they are frozen solid with ice and snow. So they're very slippery. This is another drawback of winter camping when you have carpet on your stairs.
A series of terrible mistakes were made.
A series of unfortunate events.
A lemony snicket. A series of unfortunate events.
So, I was telling my kids that one thing I love about the timeshare life, and I know timeshares get a bad rap, but to me, as a full-time RVer, timeshares are the perfect way for me to have a house when I need it. And that's mostly just over the holidays when I want to invite my family and my kids to come and spend the holidays with us and they don't have room in the RV. We're not going to do it at a campground. A timeshare is a perfect way that I can have everybody together. We've actually rented 4 units here at this timeshare, one for us, one for James and Bryn, one for my parents, one for Jaron, so that everybody's got their own space, but we've got a large central kitchen and living area to congregate and have our holidays. I can bring all my decorations here. I brought all my fall Thanksgiving decorations and set them up in here. We've got plenty of room to play games and watch TV. So for me, it's the perfect thing for a full-time RVer to be able to use timeshares in that way that, whenever people say to me, what do you miss about being in a house? I always immediately say nothing. I don't miss anything about being in a house. I don't miss cleaning it. I don't miss maintaining it, the yard work, none of that. But I know that some people think, well, but if you're in an RV full time, you can't host your family for the holidays. So that is true. And this is how I get around it. I love it. So our week here at the timeshare has come to an end and we are packing up everything to move it back into the RV and get ready to go tomorrow. It is cold, bitter cold, in the teens. There's snow, there's ice. So you might wonder what we've been doing with Ella. I mentioned at the beginning of the video that we were going to plan to have her live in the RV for a few days after Jaron brought her back. So she stayed at his house for half of the week. He brought her midweek, and when she arrived, our bed slide was not working. We were having to do some repairs on that. Our solar system was not working to keep our towers fully charged to run the furnace, and we've had to move our solar towers back and forth to charge them in the timeshare. So all that to say, we ended up with Ella in our timeshare unit. We've locked her away in our bedroom she's been here for 4 nights, and she's done great in here. She sleeps on the bed for most of the day, and she's got access to the bathroom locked away there. And that, I know that that's controversial to, smuggle an animal into a timeshare, but this resort does allow small dogs. You could, tell them that you had a small dog and pay a pet fee or whatever and have dogs here. So they don't allow cats, but I'm a little more comfortable because they are used to being a pet resort, and we've just squirreled her away. We know that she is not going to damage anything. She's 17 years old. All she does is sleep all day. And I didn't feel comfortable with her out in the cold RV with the solar not working, and that just seemed cruel to leave her out there. Now, we could have maybe scrambled to find a pet sitter in this area, but I did look a few weeks ago to see if there was anybody around here, and I didn't find anyone very close. And we just didn't want to deal with it. We had family here for the holidays. The resort has a skeleton crew right now because people are off for Thanksgiving. So that's just how we chose to handle it, and it worked out great for us. But we are definitely ready to get out of the snow and cold. Our kids have left and left today. We are leaving tomorrow. My parents are leaving tomorrow. So let's get ready to head to Florida. It's going to take us a few days, but we are so ready to get there. All right, it's Florida or bust. Let's go.
Can't get there fast enough.
Just pulling over here to a rest stop for a quick bathroom break. We were going to go over to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania tonight to a harvest host, which was only about 5.5 hours away because we weren't sure what the traffic situation was going to be. This is the Sunday after Thanksgiving, and that is notorious, especially in the Northeast, for being the worst travel day possible. So we wanted to get as far away from New York City as we could. We're going to go over to Harrisburg and then loop back down to Washington tomorrow. Well, it's almost 11 o'clock in the morning, and the traffic has been great so far. And even Google Maps shows mostly green around New York and getting down into Washington. Now, once you get south of Washington, it's starting to get a little yellow and red. So we're trying to decide if we should try to power through that. I think if we go to Harrisburg, we're going to get there so early. We'll be there at like 3 p.m. and then we'll just be sitting there all afternoon. We would rather get farther down the road. Even if the traffic is slower, we'll get way farther down the road, and then we won't have such long travel days in the next couple of days. So let's see if we can find a Cracker Barrel or something, and we'll just drive as far as we can. We're gonna try to make it to Virginia.
We would have to lose over an hour this way to have made another route worth it, and I think we're good.
Well, we've decided to pull over here to a Cracker Barrel in Northern Virginia. We've been driving for almost 11 hours, but we were glad to get as far down the road as we could. Major traffic through Philadelphia and once we got south of Washington. But that's okay. It was a good driving day. We took turns. Actually, Jason drove most of it, which was great. And we're just going to pull over here to a quick Cracker Barrel and then keep going in the morning. See you then. Good morning. We had a great night at the Cracker Barrel. Even though it was a freezing cold night, our couple batteries ran the furnace fine, and now we're going to get on the road, hoping to head to Savannah, Georgia today, maybe to another Cracker Barrel. Look what's parked behind us at the Cracker Barrel. Cybertruck. I've seen a few of these. California and New York especially. They're cool. So we're not at a Cracker Barrel. We were going to stop at one that's a few miles north of here, but then we remembered that there's a Harvest Host right here off of 95 that we have stayed at before. Debilation Brewing Company is literally backs up to 95. It's very easy off of the highway. We got a little drink and a snack in the brewery last night, so this is a better place than Cracker Barrel. We feel a little safer here. It's down the end of a dead-end industrial road, and there's, you know, other RVs here. So we were happy to remember that, and we got a same day spot at the Harvest Host. It's a frosty morning here outside of Savannah, Georgia. We lost power overnight. The battery tower went all the way down. The house batteries are very low because we've been running the furnace. But it's 7:30 a.m., 7:45, and we're going to get out of here. We've got the truck running so that hopefully it can charge those batteries enough in the next few minutes so that we can get our jacks up. Poor Jason. I am so lucky to have him here, but he's really concerned that we're not going to have enough juice to get our jacks up. The house battery's on red. If it was me, I would just do it, but he's worried about possibly damaging the battery, and also that the battery really won't have enough juice to get the jacks up. So now we're thinking maybe we can run an extension cord over to the brewery if they have a plug on the outside of their patio. Nobody is here right now because it's too early, but maybe we could get a little juice somewhere. We have our 15 amp dog bone here that can plug into a regular outlet and then charge through the 50 amp. It goes 15 amp to 50 amp, but it'll maybe charge our house batteries for a few minutes.
Should plug right in, so it's intended for
15 to 50.
Yeah.
Woo! Now we need to go in.
Just make sure it's plugged.
Oh,
it's going.
okay.
Honey,
Now
don't
that-
leave this open. Please.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Look at the camera. You're letting all the heat out.
I know, I'm sorry. Don't let the heat out of the way. Though it is above freezing right now. So now we're charging the RV directly from the 15 amp or regular plug on the patio. It's going through the extension cord right into the RV.
It's working. We have
The power in the RV?
13.2 showing up on the batteries. It's because this is plugged in.
Wow, because of the traffic.
It's working. It's like 13.2 volts on the battery now because there's actually power going to it. So good stuff.
Now we could, if we were really in a pinch, we could have gotten the generator out and hooked it up, but we would have had to unhook the truck to get into this generator bay right here. So I'm thankful that we didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
It's nice that this place has a gate that locks the RVs in here at night. And then they give us a code to get out in the morning because they don't open until later. So that's a little more secure as well, that we're behind a locked gate. You know, another weird thing that happened to us yesterday is that one of the black rubber mats that's in the back of our truck apparently flew out while we were driving. We had 6 mats back there. When we arrived here, we had 5. We've got some cargo bars across there holding them down, but it's not holding them tight down, and one must have worked its way loose and out the back. You know, when we drive down the highway and see people lose things, or like people on YouTube say, oh, we lost this thing in travel, you know, my first thought is, how unaware are you that you were driving your RV and didn't see something flying off there? Well, I mean, it had to be right here out the window, and had to work its way up enough that it was probably flapping for quite a while before we lost it. Goodness, maybe it was in the dark. I'll use that as an excuse. But you know, at one point I did say, do you smell burning rubber? They're black rubber mats, and I said, can you look at the tires? And we didn't see anything smoking. We thought, well, it was probably a car that passed us on the highway was smelling or something. That was probably it. The rubber mat was probably stuck under something, causing burning rubber before it flew off. Goodness.
We're down a mat, so to comfort this one that's left behind, we put this nice soft chaise lounge there, which also may keep them from flopping out again. It was a long drive day. The wind got in there. We didn't see. Where are we headed now?
The place we've been meant to be all along.
Florida. Here we come.
Well, we made it to sunny Florida. So excited to be here after some long travel days. Thanks for coming along with us. Now, we haven't resolved our bed slide issue yet, or our solar panels not working. We're going to be working on that over the next couple of weeks. Over the next week, Jason and I will be out for a few days at a work retreat for him. We're looking forward to getting together with some friends over in Tampa. And then after that, we'll be moving to a different place in Florida that I'm so excited to show you, but I won't tell you quite yet what it is. And once we get there, we'll have some of these issues addressed. So we'll see you then. Might be 1 or 2 weeks till my next video, I'm not sure. But until then, I hope you have a great winter and happy holidays. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.